Welcome to Elena Magic Channel, where I dive into the psychological portraits of film characters. I analyze their inner worlds, uncover hidden meanings, and decode the film's ending from a psychological perspective. Subscribe to explore the characters on a deeper level. Today, we're talking about The Mandalorian and Grogu, the next major chapter in the ever-expanding Star Wars universe. After the massive success of the Disney Pot series, The Mandalorian, fans have been waiting to see whether Din Djarin and Grogu could carry a full cinematic adventure. And honestly, this movie had a lot to prove. Could it balance emotional storytelling with large-scale action? Could it satisfy longtime Star Wars fans while still being accessible to newcomers? And most importantly, does the galaxy still feel exciting after so many Star Wars projects? Well, let's talk about it. From the very beginning, The Mandalorian and Grogu feels bigger than the TV series. The scale is immediately noticeable. The cinematography is more cinematic, the environments feel richer, and the action sequences clearly benefit from a movie-sized budget. But what surprised me the most is that the film doesn't lose the emotional core that made the series so popular in the first place. And at the center of everything is still the relationship between Din Djarin and Grogu. And that dynamic continues to carry the entire story. Pedropascal once again brings a quiet, emotional depth to the Mandalorian. Even behind the helmet, you can feel the conflict, responsibility, and growing attachment to Grogu. And Grogu himself, despite barely speaking, somehow remains one of the most expressive characters in Star Wars. The movie smartly avoids turning him into just comic relief or a merchandising tool. Instead, Grogu actually feels important to the story and to the emotional stakes. And that's one of the film's biggest strengths. Mystery and passing. Without giving away major spoilers, the story follows Din and Grogu as they become involved in a larger conflict, connected to the future of the galaxy after the fall of the Empire. And the movie combines Western-style storytelling, bounty hunter action, and classic Star Wars mythology surprisingly well. At times, it almost feels like a blend between a space western, a samurai film, and a traditional Star Wars adventure. And honestly, that combination works. The pacing is mostly solid throughout the film. There are slower moments in the middle, but they're usually focused on character development rather than tiller. The movie also does something important. It remembers that Star Wars should feel adventurous. There are dangerous planets, mysterious locations, intense dogfights, creatures, practical effects, and moments that genuinely feel fun again. That sense of adventure has been missing from some recent blockbuster movies, so it's refreshing to see it here. Visual and action. Visually, this might be one of the strongest Star Wars projects in years. The practical effects mixed with modern CGI create a world that feels lived in and believable. Tell the filmmakers wanted to preserve the classic Star Wars aesthetic while still pushing things forward. Some of the action scenes are absolutely fantastic. The ship battles especially stand out. Watching Din Djarin maneuver through combat in the Razor Crest style sequences feels intense, cinematic, and exciting on a much larger scale than the TV show. And the choreography during the ground combat scenes feels brutal and tactical, exactly what fans expect from a Mandalorian-focused story. The sound design is also incredible. Every blaster shot, ship engine, and lightsaber moment has weight to it. And the musical score does a great job blending emotional themes with epic orchestral energy. Tao, you can definitely feel the influence of classic Star Wars music while still keeping the unique identity established by the series. The good. One of the best things about this movie is that it understands its characters. It doesn't rely only on nostalgia. Yes, there are references for longtime fans of Star Wars, but the emotional story always comes first. The film also avoids becoming overly complicated with lore, booleans. That's important because sometimes Star Wars projects get buried under too much exposition and fan service. Here, the story stays relatively focused. Din wants to protect Grogu. Grogu continues discovering who he is and where he belongs, and the galaxy around them keeps getting more dangerous. Simples but effective. Another major positive is tone. The movie balances seriousness and humor much better than many modern blockbusters. The funny moments feel natural instead of forced. And thankfully, the film knows when to let emotional scenes breathe without interrupting them with jokes every 30 seconds. The bad. Now, the movie isn't perfect. Some supporting characters don't care, and a few plot points feel predictable if you've watched a lot of Star Wars content before. There are also moments where the film plays things a bit too safe. It clearly wants to please fans, which is understandable, but occasionally you wish it would take bigger creative risks. Certain cameos may also divide audiences. Some fans will love them. Others might feel they distract from Din and Grogu's personal story. And while the action is excellent overall, there are one or two sequences that go on slightly longer than necessary. Under final the tots. At the end of the day, The Mandalorian and Grogu succeeds because it remembers what made people fall in love with Star Wars in the first place. Adventure, heart, mystery, hope. It delivers exciting action, strong visuals, emotional character moments, and enough world building to make the galaxy feel alive again. More importantly, it proves that Din Djarin and Grogu absolutely deserve their place on the big screen. Is it the greatest Star Wars movie ever made? Probably not. But is it one of the most enjoyable and emotionally grounded war stories we've had in recent years? Tonto would say yes. If you're already a fan of The Mandalorian, this movie will likely give you exactly what you want, just on a much larger scale. And if this is the direction Star Wars is heading next, honestly, the future looks pretty promising. Hamdia, so what did you think about The Mandalorian and Grogu? Did the movie live up to the hype? Or were you expecting something more? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this review, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more movie reviews, sci-fi content, and everything related to Star Wars. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.